Agriculture Secretary Manuel Piñol, Solicitor General Jose Calida, Presidential Assistant for the Visayas Mikey Lloyd Dino, Representative Martin Romualdez and other honorable members of the House of Representatives. I think he was left behind. Pupunata siya ng Davao, sasama sa akin. Maybe he went home to ask permission from his wife. Takot pala talaga sa asawa itong Alangalang, how do you pronounce it? Municipal Mayor Lovely and you, officials and staff of Chen, Agventures Rice Processing Complex, led by its founders, Mr. and Mrs. Francois Patrick Renoche. Other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, mayong gabi. You know, as I have told you before, I was utterly frank with you when I became president that I am a night person and my day starts at 1 o'clock. And if I have many things to do, itong mga out of town ko, well, I can always honor the commitments, but I have to fly helicopters by night. Hopefully it has stand in good stead, safe naman, at umaabot naman ako sa inyo. In today's fast-paced and highly modernized society, it is imperative for us to utilize the latest technologies at our disposal in order to help our people lead better and more productive lives. I therefore would say that I am really happy, very pleased to join all of you today as we inaugurate the Chen Agventures or CYA Rice Processing Complex. To the joint efforts of the Department of Agriculture and the Philippine Rice Institute, we were able to make this partnership possible. This project is a testament of our commitment to find more ways to actively respond to the various problems and challenges confronting the agricultural industry. Complex that you're taking initiatives to sustain our rice supply and ensure food security for our nation. At the first large-scale sustainable rice processing facility in the Philippines, I am hopeful that CYA will be able to help us to continuously propel the agriculture sector forward by providing our farmers with the equipment and technical assistance that they need to produce high-quality rice. I am certain that with your invaluable partnership and the Renoche Palay procurement program, we'll be able to truly improve the well-being of our farmers by helping them realize the role as the true drivers of agricultural development. I hope that CYA and the local government of Leyte will continue to take further strides in spurring countryside development, as well as the others in advancing the rice industry towards more progressive and modern practices. Together, let us continue to respond to the call of nation building by empowering the most vulnerable in our society so that all Filipinos may have an equal chance towards a better and future life. Mabuhay kayong lahat. May I little bit, what, are you hungry? I am. If the food is ready, then I just can shorten my, but I'd like to just also mention that si Secretary Piñol will be leaving the agriculture portfolio. Hirap ako sa Mindanao because we have created a new political entity there, the BOL, or BARN, for that matter, as it is known today. There seems to be a lag na nakikita ko, there's not much activity in really trying to devolve all powers of the national government relevant to the existence of BARN. They seem to be, I'm not saying that they are not moving, but ever so slow, that I would need a point man there in the likes of Secretary Piñol. The Mindanao Development Authority is a special entity geared towards the full development of Mindanao. With the changing political horizon there, we have to do what we promise to the Moro people. We have for so many years been at war. We had trouble there before the BARN. And yet, to our maybe luck, and of course Allah, we were able to create the BARN entity, and there seems to be relative peace in Mindanao. Though we have to continue to worry about terrorism. And that you have to differentiate what ails Mindanao. Yung mga revolutionary, for example, the MI and the MN, they continue to hope. And we pray that we can move forward. I like to really seek peace for everybody. I do not want war in Mindanao. It would bring nothing but bleeding human beings. Problem is, itong mga traditional revolutionary, it's only an issue of land and their territory. For the simple reason that they were parang sideswipe sila, tumagilid sila because with the coming of the Christians, Mindanao, who was really, or which was evangelized by the Muslim evangelists, 100 years behind, ahead rather, and Magellan behind by 100 years in coming to the Philippines. Pag ikaw ay Tagalog, Bisaya, but if you do not know how to talk the Maguindanao, Maranao, Sama, Kagan, Tausog, hindi ka taga Mindanao. O ang reliyon natin, Christianity, we are not the original inhabitants of Mindanao. The original inhabitants of Mindanao are the Moro people. Because most of them, sabi ko, with the entry of the evangelist Muslims, Islam, they were converted ahead. So, like us, we call Cebu now a Cebu. But if you talk to the originals, they would say Sugbo. So what's really the Ilonggo would be Hiligaynon. The Waray is the Waray. That's the name of historical names na yan. Kaya tayo medyo may gulo. And the Abu Sayyaf, which is really a connect of ISIS, is still sowing terror. I have already placed there one division sa Sulo mismo. There's the fighting there is brutal because, itong mga ISIS, I consider them ISIS now, their penchant to decapitate their captives and people who are kidnapped. And despite of the payments, they still proceed to kill their victims. My orders to my military and police to just simply wipe them out from the face of the earth, if we can do that. The ISIS, I am not talking about the Moro. The Moro is the native of Mindanao. I'm talking about those Islamists who have pledged allegiance to the Baghdadi of Syria and Iraq. Sabi ko sa kanila, if they can exhibit that kind of brutality, finish them off, because we do not need that kind of human beings with us. We have gone out to make peace with them. My mother is in Maranao, mestiza. My grandfather is Chinese. My lola comes from Lanao del Sur. But I see these crazy guys, the follower of Islam, they are adapting or nurturing an ideology, or it is really none at all. It is so bankrupt and it is so empty. And what they know is just to kill and destroy. Mankind is threatened. Filipinos are in danger. It's a global threat, just like drugs. Now, if you are a president and you are afraid to kill or be killed, better pass it on to somebody else. That's a question of courage. It's not a question of whatever patriotism. It's just a question of how practical you can be to survive in this world. But I would not, I said, I've been warning everybody. Terrorism, drugs, and all. Do not destroy my country for the 3 years that I'm still here. Do not produce drugs for our children to eat and go crazy. But I will really kill you. Simple as that. I'm addressing myself to the human rights, international, local, or barangay. Putang ina ninyo. Sinasabi ko sa inyong huminto kayo. Pag hindi, talagang iiritan ko kayo. Remember it. Make sure. I'll just leave you two statements. I will begin, in 3 years I'm out. But I leave you two statements that is really very important for governance. If we cannot have law and order in this country, and if the Filipino people would allow corruption still in government, my God, Even if you give a president 10 terms, if you remain with this kind of structure, if we cannot twist the legal system here, we can never hope to develop within the next, I don't know. Talagang hanggang dyan lang tayo. Kaya yung with drugs, plus the problem, I have expressed, I hope I did not really offend you, but I said, I regret running for president. Because I promised to do, and I promised little. I did not make any grandiose or sinabi ko lang, pag nanalo ako, I will deal with corruption. I'm dealing it until now. I just fired the president of the GSIS yesterday. I will go for the customs again. There will be a lot of dismissals, I hope. And try to really stop the corruption in the higher crust of government. Sinabi ko sa inyo noon, maliit lang yan dito sa ano. Ano yung matatanimbala, mga ganon. Well, inuna ko yan because it impacts directly sa tao. Sumatapang, wala nang bukas-bukas ngayon sa bagay. And the new way is just to swipe your passport and that's it. But because really there are so many arrivals, 42 million, we can hardly cope up. Meaning to say, we did not project or prepared that ganito karami ang pupunta sa atin dito, especially when we made friends with China and everybody in the neighborhood. Ako nung nanalo ako, I was not sure of China because nag-away. Pinapaalis nga yung mga fishermen because of Aquino. Remember, there was this standoff. Dalawang barko na nag-agawan tayo, asserting our control. There was this danger of a war because we were ready to shoot at the time. I was not yet the president. Itong putang inang Albert na to, siya nagbigay na mag-retreat tayo because mutually agreed for China to retreat and the Philippines to go back to its original territorial limit. What happened was that si Albert hindi talaga niya tinignan and the Chinese never left the place. On that day, we lost Scarborough Shore. I was not yet the president. Doon, we lost the Scarborough and the rest. Nagdatingan sila and naabutan ni Aquino arbitral ruling, but China says the China Sea is ours. It is not yours. But sabi natin na we won a case we filed against you and sa arbitral ruling nanalo kami. So ipakita mo yan sa Chinese, sabi sa Chinese, kainin mo yan. Kasi amin itong China Sea. By historical and ancient rules. But really, wala man tayong away sa Chinese ngayon. I'd like to ask them. I've been reading books, medieval times, or before Christ, after Christ, and so many wars that happened far in between the years of our existence in our generation. Ngayon lang ako nakita ng isang country na sinulo ang isang ocean. Ngayon itong mga ulol na ito, gusto nilang, they are attacking me on the collateral na I should bar China from fishing, from destroying. Gusto nila pumunta ako doon. O how do I enforce the arbitrary ruling? Magpunta ako doon, dala ko Navy ko, and I insist and say, hey, you guys, you go out. And China, no. What do you want? So magkagera tayo. All the modern missiles are there in yung Spratly. Their missiles can reach from China, Spratly to Manila, in 7 minutes. So what am I supposed to do? Order my soldiers, Navy, Marines, police to go there and die? Yun ang gusto nila. Wala man talaga tayong laban. Ni ang Amerika, ayaw eh. Despite of their mga overflights, tapos kunwari, you know, you are already here in this planet. There were in the past, about 7 years ago, in the newspapers, that something was brewing in the Spratly Islands because there was what would appear to be construction. Lumabas na yun. Sabi nga ni President Aquino, the only country who can confront China would really be America. Itong Amerika, alam nila, may 7th Fleet sila. Bakit hindi nila pinuntahan doon sa Spratly and say, hey guy, you are not supposed to build an artificial islands in the high seas. That is exactly prohibited by international law. And the fact that you are constructing it within the exclusive economic zone of our friend, the Philippines. Hinayaan nila. Ngayon na medyo nandyan na yan, all the guns are there, all the missiles are mounted, they want us to enforce our fisheries law and to protect the environment there. Tanungin ko sila, are we in possession of China Sea? Because if we are not, it's all. You're as if you're to be out of your rockers. Itong si Carpio, si Albert, pati isang Carpio, si Morales. I don't know how they would. Gusto ko ibigay sa kanila ang gobyerno. Now, because right at the start, my first visit to China, kasi yung in-order ko na 63,000 M16s, binara ng Amerika, 2 of their congressmen stood up in their Congress, to denounce me. I was ordering it because all the intelligence reports indicated that there was already a build-up, meaning to say they were passing arms to anyone who would join the Maute. Kaya pumunta ako sa Japan, sabi ko, mag-utang na lang ako, wala man akong pera. Sabi ni President Xi Jinping, okay, I'll give you the arms free. Walang problema, press the bullets. Then kulang pa, mahiya man ako maghiya ng dagdag, I went to Russia. I went to President Putin, I said, Sir, if you may, I have this problem. Kaya ngayong araw na nandoon ako sa Moscow, pumutok ang Marawi. And luckily, I had a last minute, he came in from Georgia, which is a territory of Russia. He flew by 6 hours just to see me doon sa malapit sa airport. So I told him, do not worry. I'll give you. And to this day, to this very day, China and Russia never asked even for one single toothpick. That is how geopolitics is being played. America could have done it earlier but did not. I am surprised why. Now he wants us to tickle China at kapag pumutok itong ang masakripisyo, papasabugin na yung Palawan kasi nandyan yan si lahat ngayon because it's facing the China. I am not about to order my soldiers to go to the mouths of hell to die na walang kalaban-laban. Cannot do that. Hindi ako natakot. Pero kung magsama ito si Carpio, si Morales, si Albert, I would be happy to lead them. Kung magagera talaga, hilain ko itong mga Leyte na ito. Dito tayo. Ito. Anyway, mamamatay man tao. Mamamatay man talaga tayo. Punta tayo doon. Make this. We can never win a war against China. Kaya yan ang problema natin. I hope that China would not overdo things also. Because there is always America pushing us, egging us, tinitikoy tayo para, sige, ginagawa akong bait. Anong tingin ninyo sa Pilipino wati? Ngayon, sabi ko, dalhin mo yung lahat ng eroplano mo, barko mo dito sa China. Fire the first shot at nandito kami sa likod. Sige, laban tayo kung sinong mupulpog. Totoo, Amerika, sabi nila, USRP Pact, okay. Let America declare the war. Let them assemble all their armaments there in South China Sea. Fire the first shot and I'll be glad to do the next. May RP-US Pact maka tayo. Let us honor it. The human trouble, okay, let's do it. May panahon man talaga na mamatay yung tao. But then, what will happen to the America, and what will happen to the Philippines and Asia, I really do not know. There's geopolitics laro ng ano dito. Pero hindi ako gago. Mabutit at alam ninyo na hanggang, wala, mahirap tayo Siguro kung ako ang na-presidente, bigyan ako ng 20 years. Itong Pilipinas, kada barangay may 5 cruise missiles, pati kanyon. Totoo. Then I would have really massacred all who stood. Kalaban, hindi mo madala You surrender, tapos babalik ka. Kaya kung ako, ratsadahin na lang kita. Then I will answer, sabi nila, prosecute ako sa International Court of International Criminal Court. O di, sige. Ano namang gusto ninyo? You hang me? Good. You firing squad? Mas mabuti. Kaya maging Rizal rin ako. You feed me to the sharks. Kumakain mo rin ako ng pating, so tabla-tabla lang. Payback time. Yan ang problema ng Pilipinas. So I have 3 years, and when I go back, I would be firing more from the Bureau of Customs. I'm just telegraphing. Then maybe ilagay ko na sa army talaga lahat yung... Hindi na ako maniwala niyan, they are not allowed to work. Since I cannot depend on the idiots, what should I do? Follow the rule that itong army, police, hindi makada. And if my country is sinking, you want me to follow a rule that cannot help my country? I will not. Want to impeach me? Go ahead. Basta, I said, lalo na yung... Ako magka-diferensya tayo, okay lang. Except when it is the essence, the very essence of the security of the state. Do not force my hand into it. Do not force me to declare war. Because I have something else. I have a card which I can throw anytime. And you won't like it. But at least it will give a sense of order. And maybe, I don't know. I pray to God. Hindi ko talaga alam ngayon. Pero basta, first and foremost, dalawa lang kasing statement lang oath ko eh. If you reduce my oath of office, it says, I have to protect the people. Second, I have to preserve the country. Yun. Hindi ako alis dyan. Ngayon, I'd like to thank Rancho, Mr. and Mrs. Patrick Rinocci. Guys, from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to thank you for helping my country. I've never, well, few in my life, people who would come here and try to help my fellow men. I feel like almost maybe it's sentimental now because I've seen the complex that you have built for my countrymen. Wala bang administrative na ano Joe sa Joe Calida is the Solicitor General. There are two, Congress and citizenship. Di ba may administrative yan? Well, kindly work on it because actually Patrick Francois said that your Patrick is much very willing to be a Filipino citizen. And if we can do that in a jiffy, hurry up, maybe I'll try. Experimental lang naman. If he becomes naturalized citizen, then I think he's qualified to be a member of the cabinet. then I can maybe ask Sir Patrick that you join us and help us because it's really agriculture. Most of it is really the stomach of the Filipino. If you want, maybe I can cut corners and wala bang administrative yan? Kaya kung maaari lang, executive order. Let me see, I can always talk to, just Senator Go. Bong, pasalamat ka sa mga tao. Bong is also Chinese, at least half his grandfather. Tignan mo raw, Bong. Baski ganito, no, it's not really a big deal, but somehow yung tulong na ganito comes few and rare. Eh kung ganon siya makagawa ng ganito, and if we can have this kind of complex in our rice-producing centers all over the Philippines, I think that by that time, I would insist that we raise him to the level of sainthood. Meron bang Saint Patrick has the church in New York? You've been there? Oh, okay. Let us reduce it to a better. I'd like to rename you Patricio, not to compete with the Americans. Really, I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if we can work together, if you want to stay in the Philippines, and I said, considering the amount that you have invested, I'm not that rich, but I can give you another 1.5 billion to do your thing, as long as, I'm sure that this thing is without any wrongdoing, without the usual corruption, and that is what I do not like. So, but in your hands, I've seen how the 1.5 billion, how it was used, and I said, if we can have that, we have the money. Not much, but we have the money, and we can replicate that in about, I am putting him to task in Mindanao. And if we have something like that, maybe, just maybe, I'd like to, this is really a copied one, a plagiarized, but I'd like to use this in different modes of sentence. Your endeavor, your task, what you are doing really brings you nearer to beauty, and I'm sure closer to God. Thank you.